Hello everyone, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to take my double crochet super easy hat that comes in 3 sizes and show you how to make it into a fun Princess Leia Star Wars hat. Now I wore this one last year when we went to the opening of the last video. I think it wasn't Rogue One, it was the one before that. But anyway, when we went to the movies, I wore this hat and I got lots of compliments, and it's really easy to make. And I wanted to get it out there because May the 4th is coming, and you know, May the 4th, may the force be with you, is a day we like to have fun Star Wars patterns and Star Wars parties. And so I thought this would be a great idea to show you how to do this. Now this is a pattern that comes in 3 sizes. The child size is about a 16-inch. The youth size is about 18 inches, and then the adult size is about 20 to 22. Now remember when you're making your hat to measure as you go, and also remember that yarn is very stretchy, so make sure that you don't make it too big. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making the double crochet hat. I'll show you how to bring the front in so it looks like the part in her hair, and also how to make these buns and sew them on. And what you're going to need is a J-hook. And then you're going to need some kind of chunky number 5 yarn. For today's video, I'm using this Jiffy, and you can see it's only $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. So it's a good, cheap yarn to use to make a fun hat like this that you're not going to wear every day. Although this is good yarn. Lion Brand Jiffy, it's a chunky number 5. It's a little bit lighter than this, and I wanted to go with something just a little bit lighter in color so that you could see what I'm doing. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be making the child size, which is going to be a 16-inch, but I will explain to you how to make it bigger, of course. You're going to need a needle with a great big eye because we are using a chunky yarn. Now, if you don't have a chunky yarn, you can use 2 strands of worsted weight number 4, like a Super Saver or I Love This Yarn. You can use 2 strands and work with them together in order to make a chunky. I like to use the chunky because it whips up really fast. And of course, this is just a whip up to wear to a party. So really all you need is your J-hook, your yarn, a nice big eye, needle, and of course a pair of scissors. So go grab your supplies, and may the force be with you. So to get started, we're going to begin with the hat portion, and we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So I've got my J-hook. I'm going to make my slip knot. I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first 3 chains are going to count as our double crochet. And so we're going to stitch in the 4th chain 9 double crochets. So since our first 3 chains counted as 1 double crochet, we stitched 1 more, we want to have a total of 10. So we're going to stitch 8 more double crochets right in that 4th chain from the hook. Now, just in case you're not sure what a double crochet is, we're going to yarn over our hook. We're going to go in that stitch or chain and pull up a loop. You'll have those 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. And we'll do this until we have a total of 10 double crochets. And whether you're making the child, the youth, or the adult size, we are going to begin with 10 double crochets. So let's count. We've got our chain 3 that counted as our first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's our first row or round. We're going to join to the top of this chain 3 with a slip stitch. Put your hook through, yarn over, pull that yarn through that first loop, and then pull that yarn through that loop that's on your hook, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now for all sizes of the hat, the first 3 rows are going to be exactly the same. So for the second row, we want to have 20 stitches. So we're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Whoops. Get in there. There we go. And then we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And that's going to take us from 10 double crochets to 20. So there's 2. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets. We're going from 10 double crochets to 20. We'll do this all the way around. Till we reach back around here, we'll join to the top of the chain 3 and we'll chain 3. So just to repeat, 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. I stitched 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. I joined to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chained 3. For row 3, we're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we'll place 1 single crochet in the next. The next double crochet, we're going to place 2 double crochets. And the way the pattern or the stitch pattern will work for row 3 is 1 and 2. And what that means is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in the next. So there's 1 and then 2. And this is going to take us from 20 double crochets to 30 double crochets. So all the way around this row, we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next double crochet and 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. All the way around, we'll join to the top of our chain 3 just like we did before and chain 3. So just to repeat, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way around, bringing our total from 20 double crochets to 30 double crochets. I completed row 3 doing the 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Whoops, almost dropped my hook there, didn't I? All right, I'm going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now for row 4, we're going to be stitching a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in this next stitch. And for row 4, we're going to be doing 2 and 2. And what that means is 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then 2 double crochets in the next. And this is going to give us 40 double crochets. So 1, 2, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then 2 stitches or 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So we're doing 2 and 2 all the way around for row 4. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So we're going from 30 double crochets to 40 double crochets. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. We'll repeat the 2 and 2 pattern all the way around our hat, and then we'll join to the top of the chain 3 again and chain 3. And then I'll explain to you how to do the 3 different sizes. This is how your beanie hat should look after the first 4 rows. Now, if you're going to make the child size, we're not going to increase anymore. If you're going to make the youth size, you're going to have to do another row of increase. And if you make the adult size, you're going to do 2 more rows of increase. And the way we do that is when we join chain 3, double crochet in the first chain or the first stitch like we've done in the past, and on row 4 we did 2 double crochets and then 2 double crochets together. So for row 5 for the youth size, you're going to do 3 double crochets and then 2 together all the way around. And then for the adult size, you'll do that row and then you'll do another row, only you'll do 4 single double crochets and 2 together. And that will increase from this row. On row 4, we have 40 double crochets. When you're doing the youth size, you're going to increase to 50. And then when you're doing the adult size, you're going to increase to 60. And those will get your beanie hat bigger on the top. Now, it's a good idea to measure and remember that yarn is stretchy and you want to make it fit. And it's always better for the beanie to be just a little bit snug, not a lot, but just a little, rather than too big and slide off. So keep that in mind when you're adjusting to the bigger sizes. Now, if you want to see those stitch counts, like I said, the pattern will be down below in the notes underneath the video. Just click that arrow or where it says see more, and then you'll get those stitch counts and exactly how to increase. But this is just a basic chunky double crochet hat, and so it's really basic increases. Today for our demonstration, we're making the child size, so we're not increasing anymore. And so we're skipping to row 7. And row 7, we joined with a slip stitch, chain 3, and then for row 7, we're just going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, because we're not doing any more increases. This is the width that we want our hat, and so we're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around our hat, and then we'll join and chain 3. Go ahead and work on 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and then I'll talk to you on the length of your hat. So I did 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. I joined to the top of my chain 3, and I'm going to chain 3. But before I do this, I want to talk to you a little bit about the length of the hat this way. And for the child size, we'll do 2 more rows, which will bring us up to row 9. For the youth size, you end up doing 4 more rows, which will bring you up to row 12. For the adult size, you're going to go up to row 14. But keep in mind that not everybody's head is the same length. And you may need for a child to add more rows, and you may need for an adult to add less. I have a smaller head, and so I made mine in the youth size. So it's up to you. I went ahead and did it bigger so that it could be for a bigger head to smaller head. But remember, it's up to you how many rows that you do for the length. And another thing to keep in mind is that the ears will be covered with the little buns, and so it doesn't have to go down all the way to the bottom of the earlobes. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with mine. I need to do 2 more rows for the youth size. So just to repeat, this is the child size, not a youth size. I said youth. For the child size, we need up through R9. For the youth, up through R12. And for the adult, up through R14. But keep in mind, it's up to you the length or how many rows you want to put on your hat. These are just the standard length that I have for my grandkids and myself. So we're going to continue doing 1 double crochet in each double crochet until the length that we need. And then I'll show you how to do the front of the hat and how to make the buns. I finished my hat, and I actually added an additional double crochet row around because my granddaughter's head is a little bit longer and I wanted to make sure it was long enough. So I joined to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to tie off. I'm just going to pull that under, and then I will weave that in later. And that's the back of the hat. So then we're going to turn it forward, and I'm going to show you how to do the little thing we do that makes it look like it has a part in the center. So we're going to cut off a piece of yarn about 12 to 18 inches. We're going to thread that onto our needle. And then we're going to go on the front of the hat and go up 2 rows. So here's 1, 2. We're going to put our needle through 2 rows. I'm going to hang on to that on the back so it doesn't come all the way through. We're going to go around the hat and come right back up in that same spot. And we're going to do that just a couple of times. And that's going to make it look like it has a little bit of a part. And I'll just do about 3 or 4 times. Make sure it's pulled. I'm going to go underneath those stitches. And then I'm going to do a crochet no-no and tie a knot. I like to do that and then go behind those stitches and tie another knot. And if you're worried about that coming undone, you can put fray check on it or a little dab of hot glue. Just make sure you press it flat so that it doesn't make a little knot on your head. And that's how we make the little section in the middle. Makes it look like it has a little part. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is make the buns. And so we're going to do that by chaining with 3 strands of our yarn. And so what we'll need to do is pull out a whole bunch of yarn because we're going to need to make a 24-inch braid. And so what I do is I just pull a whole bunch of yarn out. Gather this all up. And this is from the center where I'm pulling from. I'm going to gather that up, and then I'll put it like this. Make a loop and then go down. And I usually end up with more than I need, but you're going to need about a 24-inch yarn. So we're going to make our slip knot, or I should say a 24-inch braid, not yarn. We're still using our J hook, and we're just going to make a loose chain. And we want that chain to be about 24 inches. And you might lose a loop or 2 as we go, but that's okay. Make it nice and loose. And we'll braid that, or not braid it, we will chain this until it's 24 inches long. That's why you want to pull out a whole bunch of yarn, probably more than you needed, because it's better to have too much than to have to add on additional. Alright, so we're chaining a nice fat braid until it's 24 inches long. I already attached one of the buns, and I wanted to show you how you find where to put it. Here's the beginning where we have our part, and we're just going to lay it flat and then add the bun halfway back. So we chained our 24-inch chain, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the loop one or 2 strands and just leave the one long strand on there because we're going to need it. And then we're going to pull out a good 36 inches worth of yarn, and that's because we're going to need it to sew the bun together and also to sew it onto the hat. So let's go ahead and just take that and pull it through and tie that off. And then we're going to tie a knot. I know this is crochet, we're not supposed to tie knots, but this knot will be hidden, and we want to make sure our braid's not going to come undone. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut those strings. Alright, so let's take our piece of yarn that we left long and thread that onto our needle. And now we need to coil our braid into a bun. So loosely coil it up like this. We'll hide that knot in there. And then we'll take our needle, and as we work, we'll go through, there we go, the braid like this, and we'll gently pull. Now, we don't want it pulled too tightly, but we want it tight enough to stay. So you want to make sure it's not going anywhere, but it's not pinching up or bunching up or anything. And then we'll coil this around a little more. We'll put our needle through again, and we'll just go through some more of those braids. And we'll just keep coiling and stitching through so the braid holds in place. Just keep going through the sides. And remember, don't pull it too tight. We want it to be a little bit loose so we can have a little bit of play with it, so we can adjust it as needed. You can see I'm still going all the way through the bun. There we go. Now, if you want your braids to be longer, you can certainly chain longer. If you want them to be thicker, you can add more strands of yarn. Okay, so now we're going to put this where our other end knot is on the back side and kind of sew that in place, as we don't want that knot to show. And then we'll just stitch a little whip stitch there. Alright, so let's shape our little bun out a little bit. And let's go ahead and cut off this end, because we don't want that to show when we're sewing it onto our hat. Alright, so here's our hat. Here's our front. We want to make sure it's lined up with this one. So we're going to put our little bun right there. Alright, so what I do, that's actually the back, because we want that to hide back there. There we go. I want to make sure the length is about the same as the other one. We don't want one bun higher than the other, right? Alright, so we're going to hold that in place. If you're uncomfortable holding it, you can always pin it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through the hat and come up through the bun. Just like that. And then we're just going to stitch straight across, making sure, some thread out there, that we're going across this edge. And you can see I'm not making little bitty stitches. They're just great big stitches just to hold it in place. So that's the first thing I do. I stitch across the back of the hat. The next thing I do is I come up on the front, because I don't want my bun to roll down, right? So I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to go behind, and I'm just going to make some whip stitches around so that my bun stays put, but it doesn't look like I made a bunch of stitches, because if you whip stitch it around, it'll blend right in with those braids. Just like that. There we go. And now we can kind of look at it and see, well, this one's coming up a little, so I want to go and fix that. And so we can just go and tidy up however we want to. I like to do it with whip stitches because it just adds a little more depth if we need. Because we want our bun to stay put, right? We don't want to be at our party having fun. All of a sudden our bun falls off our hat. That wouldn't be any fun. Might be kind of amusing though. So anyway, I just make some extra stitches just to make sure that my little bun is going to stay put. Okay, now I can see I have a little loop here. So I'm going to go underneath and I'm just going to make sure my stitch stays put with just a little stay stitch here like this. And then I'm going to go and make sure that my buns are going to stay together from the back. You can do it from the back or the front, doesn't matter. Because if you're using matching yarn and we're using this nice chunky stuff, it's going to blend right in. Alright, so that looks a lot better. And you just tidy it up however you want. See, I want to do some more there because I don't like the way that looks. There we go. My needle keeps dropping. There we go. And I just keep going and looking for spots until I run out of yarn. You know, just seeing where it needs to be tidied up or whatever. Just making sure you make loops so that you don't have big stitches or holes or anything. And I think I've just about used up most of my yarn. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to go back up to the hat. Back up to that edge. And just tie off. Because I think my little bun is going to stay just fine. So there's my Princess Leia. Star Wars. That's backwards. There's the front. Star Wars bun hat. Now here's mine. This is the adult size. This is the child size. And of course there's a size in between. And that's how you make the Princess Leia hat, bun hat, out of just my basic chunky double crochet pattern. The double crochet pattern is a great basic pattern you can use for just about anything. But isn't it fun to make it into our Princess Leia hat?